morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Spencer Tillis.
I'm Trayvon Miles.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. Coming up in a few minutes in today's episode, Sussex Tech was looking to make a statement at home against AI DuPont, but could the Ravens hang on with one of the teams from upstate?
And a big Bayside girls showdown, Mardella traveling to Pocomoke. Huge 1-8 implications on the line in this one.
And a big wrestling match going on as well. St. Michael's hosted a huge tournament. We'll have those highlights. But we begin today with some very exciting news. DSI is officially going live. That's right, starting next week, we're moving to Saturdays, prime time, 7 o'clock, taking the show live. And I tell you what, it's really going to take this show to the next level. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited myself. We're finally going live next Saturday. Make sure that you tune in.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, let's start the show. Let's get right into it. A big basketball showdown going on Tuesday night. Pocomoke was looking to stay in a tie for first place in conference when they traveled to play Bennett. And the Bleacher Creatures, as always, ready to go in this one. Early on, the Warriors looking good. Ramir Smith out in the open court, able to glide in for the 2 points right there. But back comes Bennett. Jordan Duffy with the full court touchdown pass to L.J. Carter. He's going to get in just by the defender and finish for 2. That actually gave Bennett a 7-point lead. And then the time winding down here in the third, Leander Roberts beats the buzzer for Pocomoke, gets the layup to go. Bennett trying to fight back in the fourth. Now Duffy, the ridiculous three-pointer. No one can stop that. A 4-point game. But Pocomoke would make the plays down the stretch in this one. Desjormil scores in transition. Zero defense right there. That ices it. 86-79 the final. And I tell you what, the beat goes on for both these teams, doesn't it? I mean, just another very impressive performance by Pocomoke. And another game where you're waiting for the Clippers to come up with a big win. But I tell you what, this was, in my opinion, more of a big statement win for Pocomoke. I mean, this was the first loss all year long for the Clippers at home. They had been so good in that building. And Pocomoke was still one of those teams that I guess not a lot of people were completely sold on. They wanted to see a little bit more to that resume. And this was a big one. I mean, it put them right there in the thick of things. And I tell you what, they're challenging for this conference title right now.
Oh, they definitely are. But don't we always seem to be talking about this Bennett team doing this?
All the talent in the world.
All the talent in the world. Every week we're talking about it. Teams are now planning to let Duffy get his and contain the others. Once you do that, you should be okay. But like you said, Spencer, this win was really all about Pocomoke. Once again, calm in the storm. The Warriors go into the most hostile environment in the conference and give Bennett their first loss. How about that? That's just a great feat.
Washington, Pocomoke, Y-High, and a couple other games now at Sussex Tech. I mean, they just can't put that final touches on a game, can't finish it off.
They cannot. Speaking of Sussex Tech, they would need the same kind of energy shown by Pocomoke trying to get their 5th win in their last 6 games, taking on AI DuPont. And Tech got very familiar with the 3-point line in this one. Teron Abbott knocking one down from distance. Sussex Tech led 21-8 after 1. Second quarter now, Ravens up 8, DuPont moving it around, and there is Freddie Hand cutting into that lead, 3 of his game-high 24. Sykes would put this one away for Tech. Look where he shot it from. I think he shot that thing from Laurel. No, that was from Laurel. Tech takes this one in overtime, 86-79. And what a good game, what a good win for Sussex Tech. DuPont is an upstate contender, so to knock them off is a pretty big deal. That makes, like I said, 5 wins in their last 6 games, moved them to 7-6 on the year. Still 6 games remaining on their schedule. They desperately, Spencer, need to win these games and win out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? They really needed to win that win, too, because they lost earlier in that week to Dover. And I tell you what, that was tough loss. They had a chance to win that one. And really, they were one of those teams that's nipping at the top of the conference. They needed to win that one. They lost it. They needed to get something, get some kind of groove. And obviously, you know, Delaware is a point system. They needed to find a way to kind of get some more points. And this win is going to go a long way towards that. Once playoff standings come around, they're going to be hanging around because of this one, maybe squeak back in. And I tell you what, this is a team that can compete with anybody in the state. It's just a consistency problem that they lack with.
From a lineup standpoint, I think they can compete with anybody in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another big matchup Thursday night over in Princess Anne where the Jaguars were taking on Parkside. Early on in this one, check out the ball movement here to break the press by the Jags. Shakur Cotman finds Mark Jones, who sends it up to Montrez Oliver there for the reverse lay-in. Parkside was down 20 in the first half.
Again?
But trying to fight back through that. Or the first half winding down here, Jawan Williams gets the tip in to go. That made it just a 15-point game at the break. And the second half now, Washington still rolling. Tyler Paulson gets the block there, sparks the break, and eventually the lay-in there by Jones at the other end. And then the Jags would put this thing away in the fourth. Great ball movement one more time. Cotman, he's going to cut to the hole here, get a little bit of contact, great body control, gets the finish, plus the foul. He could look how excited he is. You can tell why. Washington takes a huge win, 79-68. And I tell you what, talk about a shot in the arm for this Washington team. They, too, another one like Bennett, lost a couple close ones. We're starting to kind of fall out of that conversation, but they are right back in into this. And also, apparently somewhere along the line, I became a Washington hater, which is what I found out when I was at Princess. And I don't know how that happened. I thought I was pretty high on this team all year long, but I tell you what, respect they were asking for, and you get it from wins like this. I mean, they took it to Parkside. You knew that the Rams were going to make a run at this, try and make it somewhat close, but the fact that the Jags were able to close that door, and pretty resounding too, you know, they're definitely, I mean, they're only 2 wins out, or 2 games back from first place for now. They're not out of this yet.
Somebody in Princess Anne is stalking your Twitter timeline. But what's up with Parkside, man? Lost 2 of their last 3 games, 3 of their last 6 dating back to the Governor's Challenge. All credit, like you said, Spencer, due to Washington. When they played Parkside the first time at Parkside, I thought they came out and played them tough. They had their eyes set from that day on to getting the Rams back. It's going to be a very, very interesting month and a half to see them and Pocomoke battle it out for that 1A East. It is going to be a great, great finish.
Yeah, the only 2 teams in 1A that are really making some noise right now.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. All right, well, we had a great game go down yesterday as well in Dover. The Milford Bucks traveling up to take on the Dover Senators. Dover leading early in this one. Jordan Allen gets the steal. Gets away with a couple steps there, but he gets the layup to go. Dover led by 12, and Allen's 12. He didn't play the fourth quarter. Devin Kravitz pushing up in the fourth, and he finds DeMond Coleman, who knocks down the 3, giving Milford the lead. Dover without some starters. Troy Scott driving and taking it all the way himself. We had a tied ball game here. You see him flex a little bit. See him flex a little bit. Kravitz to the rack finds flexing. Henry Neesmith under the basket for the game winner. Dover will try to have one more chance, but their shot would be no good at the buzzer. And how about Milford coming in here and getting an upset win, 53-51. Wow. What a game is the first thing I can say. Milford came out and played their game. Their guards got to the rim. They shot the 3 very well. Great win for them, but how about Dover? This was a headline yesterday. Coach Wilson pulling out Jordan Allen and Terrence Woodland. The team's 2 best players did not play the fourth quarter. I guess it was to send a message, Spencer, but the only message it sent was a loss for his team.
The only message it sent is apparently I'm not trying to win games as a coach, I guess. I mean, but the fact is, I'm going to look at the other side for Milford. I mean, this team is another one that is kind of, people are sleeping on a little bit right now. First of all, when they are at home, they are really dangerous in front of that crowd. It's one of the best student sections around. When they're on the road, they got some talent. Neesmith is unbelievable right now. I mean, you look at that resume, they've got a couple quality wins now. They've beaten Dover, they've beaten Laurel, they've beaten IR. I mean, it doesn't help on the flip side that they've lost to like the likes of Cape, which shouldn't really beat much of anybody right now. But they're a team that's pretty dangerous. I mean, they got some pieces and they're really starting to kind of find the groove. Dover, wake up, because it was a rough week there for the Senators.
You never know. Any given day?
We'll find out. Well, a lot of basketball left to be talked about right after the break, because when we come up, it's Mr. 1000, David Dixon, the Colonels on a cross-state action taking on Lake Forest.
This is Michael Jean Charles. This is Bennett Basketball, and you're watching Don Moore Sports Insider.